Today we are going to talk about AFS, a brand that's coming in the US. You're going to want to know about it. Let's go. Alright, thanks so much for joining us. Today we have an exciting video. We have Richard from France working with AFS. Thanks for joining us, Richard.
Thank you.
We are going to talk about AFS products. I've been riding AFS for quite a bit, so I've been putting in quite some time, and I would say there are definitely some amazing products. I'm sure you've seen some of it on social media with Adam Bennett making the Silk look really good. Downwind boards that are really coming in the market hot. So let's talk about some of the products. Foils, I would say, what are you what was the most popular in terms of foil from AFS?
I guess the Silk, when it came on the market, did a big thing, I would say. Yeah. It's a pretty special foil, full monoblock, amazing for wide riding, obviously. Super light foil, glidey as hell, but turning like pretty much no other foil, I would say, on the market. So pretty special one, that's for sure.
Yeah, but, I mean, I would say like with the Silk, you know, our channel is like quite a bit about like wing foiling, and to me, it's so perfect for wing foiling, because when you are wing foiling, like free riding wing foiling, like that's mostly what I love to do. I feel like the Silk has like a really good range. So when you go through transition, turns, anything, maybe you slow down, it's gonna handle it no problem.
Exactly.
And then it's still gonna turn like amazing, where like, you know, there is a hype around like, you know, really high aspect foils, but I feel like with winging, you have power, you don't always need a tons of like glide, and if you have something a bit more turny, it's gonna be more fun, and the Silk definitely has that. 3 sizes, 650, 850, 1050.
Yeah.
And then the first time I picked up the Silk or AFS foils in general, to me, is the quality. So what's like special about how those foils are like made?
Well, first of all, I think the fact that we've been using some ultra high modulus on the front wing and the fuselage itself, as much as on the mast, obviously, was something pretty special about it. We've been working heavily on the flex also in the tips of the foil to make it extra smooth in the turns. And I would say something special about this foil also is the amount of glide that it has for mid-aspect. It's a mid-aspect foil that has tons of control, as much as tons of turning ability, but there's pretty much nothing has been sacrificed about the glide, and that makes it a super all-round foil that's going to be enjoyed by any type of rider, from average rider to the best rider on the planet, basically. So that's why it's so popular, I think.
Yeah, and again, like I feel like that range is why I love it, because it's a really friendly foil. It's the type of foil that you hop on it and you're gonna love from the first second. Where like some other foils sometimes are like more technical and take time to get used to it and really get a good feel for it. The Silk is the foil, like you go out, you're gonna have a blast from the first second.
Super forgiving. And something new about the Silk is like we are actually releasing pretty much right now 3 extra stabs that are gonna fit the Silk. It's called Silk HA stab. There's gonna be a 38 cm span, a 40.5 cm span, and a 43. Those ones are gonna fit the 3 sizes of the Silk, 650, 850, and 1050. They're gonna add some glide and some pumping ability to the original stab, which are absolutely amazing. They are super radical in the turn and stuff like that. They're still gonna be super turny, those HA stab, but for sure they're gonna increase the pumping and the upwind ability also on the wing.
Moving on to the pure high aspect, 800, 1100. I've been putting tons of time on it, especially for downwinders. But tell us a bit more about the pure high aspect.
So those pure HA, they're pretty thin profile compared to other foil on the market. So I would say those foil they all have a huge high hand, super fast foil. They're gonna going to be enjoyable for subfoiling, downwinding, obviously, but also for wing foiling. For those guys which are looking for the extra glide without sacrificing the speed, up and down winging, downwinding winging, downwinding in general, and subfoiling, I think it's pretty hard to match performance-wise. For one reason, it's like one of the only AHAs on the market which are full monoblock. Same, still dismountable stabilizer to give you some choice about how the foil is going to feel. But the overall rigidity plus those thin fuselage and the super stiff connection makes it that special. So those foils are super fast compared to a lot of foils which are going to be using the same span because of those super fast profile. There's not too much camber on it, so even the glide itself, you will feel straight away that that's something that's going to be extra glidey. And you're more than happy to put an extra size compared to some other foil on the market and to keep it, because it's still going to be probably faster than most of the smaller sizes of other brands sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, just a good example is, we recently did a downwind race in Guadeloupe, and the size range of the foils out there that the competitors had was huge, and we were on the 1100 pure, and that was like the biggest size. Yeah. Yet it wasn't the slowest foil.
No, for sure.
So in today's world, it's kind of hard to talk just about size because there's so much more to it, including like the profile of the foil, and so that's what's special about the pure.
Exactly.
It's like really fast. I've used it for like racing, downwinding, like racing on the wing, and on the 800 I was like having like tons of speed, tons of like upwind ability.
Yeah, sure.
And that's where when I raced on the wing with it, the upwind was like where I was
crazy.
Like just like like going really good. So
aspect ratio on this one is 13.3, so it's pretty high.
Yeah, pretty
high for a thin foil like that. And the funny thing about this foil is we were not expecting it to be as turny as what it is. For one reason actually is the fact that the tips are that thin and the surface area in the tips is that small that it's actually really turny for a foil of that span.
Yeah.
So even for some guys which are going to be proning with it, or just regular wave riding or whatever on the wing, on the sup, it's actually pretty turny and way more fun than what it looks from. It's actually way turnier than what it looks. And all those foils are the two-stab position, so you could make them extra pitchy or not, depending on what's your taste like. And you could use also different stabs of the range on the same foil to make it exactly what you want it to feel, basically.
Yeah. Awesome. In terms of mast, there's 3 different mast options in terms of like construction, pricing, but what's really amazing is like it always gets confusing when you have like different type of mast and which one should I get. The good thing about with AFS is the rule is that they are all as stiff,
exactly.
Right? And so whether you get like a cheaper one that might not be as the same like quality in terms of like carbon construction. If you get a high end, it's going to be as stiff, super thin. If you get the lower entry price point, it's going to be as stiff, but just a bit thicker, so a bit slower. Exactly, It depends on your riding.
Basically, like the higher you go in the range, the more glide you get and the more maneuverability you get. And the best example is probably the 75 UHM mast, this one. The cord is tiny on it. It's a 100 millimeters cord on it. It's probably one of the slimmest cord on the market, and that adds to the 12.8 millimeters thickness of the mast. So the glide is just crazy good, and the maneuverability also is one step ahead of what we've been doing before. So basically, the higher end you go, the more you get from glide-wise and maneuverability-wise also.
And then in terms of, we've talked about quite like performance foils, but for somebody that's coming in, winging, wants to get into it, AFS also has great beginner options. Let's talk about the Flyer because it would be the entry level foil for somebody that wants to get into it. Not only it's a really easy foil to ride, but it's a very good price point and full carbon, which we see sometimes with beginner foils being maybe not the not a full carbon or not. This pricing is pretty amazing.
It is for a full carbon foil, and I think plenty of advantages on having a full carbon foil when you're a beginner also. Super lightweight, so it's really easy to carry around and to walk a bit on the spot with your gear also when you're a beginner. It's gonna be, it's just the overall handling of this foil is pretty amazing. Super accessible, obviously the low end is crazy good on it, great stability, easy to carry around, and easy to ride in general, I would say.
So then the Performer range would just be kind of filling the gap maybe between somebody that just got the Flyer that wants more options in their foil, either bigger or smaller, and that's going to bring them to the advanced range. Which
absolutely, that's the right in between. The Performer range, they're actually using really thin profiles, so the glide and the speed of those foils is way ahead of what you got on the Flyer. It's the right in between those pure range, which are going to be top of the performance basically, and the Performers, which are going to be still easy to handle, especially if you go in the bigger sizes. Once you go down into the smaller sizes, you really get the extra performance.
Yeah. Awesome. So really good options on the foils, and now moving on to the boards. There are a few options, from depending on what you are looking for, whether you are looking for winging, prone, downwinding, but in general, what do we need to know about the AFS boards?
Well, AFS board, first of all, the price point is pretty aggressive. And we have full carbon boards with a compact factor. This is the Fire. It's a pretty compact board, but yet really stable with pretty wide tail. And this board has a price point that is pretty amazing for the construction that it offers. This one is full carbon. There's also the Fly range, which is a fiberglass, still yet really light actually, and plenty of different sizes. A tiny bit longer board compared to the Fire, a bit less compact, but great glide, great, super forgiving in the touchdown also. So those two boards are super all-around, easy to use and accessible.
Let's talk about a product that's been very popular, which is the Whiteburn. Lately, there has been a huge movement of light wind winging, trying to be more efficient in light wind winging, and the Whiteburn has really been a solution for light wind winging.
It is, yeah, for sure. It's actually one of the boards that I use the most because I use it for downwinding, subfoil downwinding. With a bit of experience, that's the type of board that you could ride. It's a compact shape factor for a downwind board, but somebody with experience into subfoiling on smaller board or downwinding in general could be a great board for sure. And regular subfoiling also, obviously, in the waves. It's just a crazy light construction, carbon and fiberglass, and price point is pretty amazing for this type of board. Obviously, for winging, it's super popular board because it's going to be compact but super efficient at the same time, and it's probably one of the most all-round board that we got in the range.
Yeah,
I mean, really efficient.
I would say the first thing I noticed when I picked it up was how light it is. So I really love that. And then I took it light wind winging in some waves, had amazing time, and then subfoiling, absolutely loving it. So yeah, this is a great burn for all of that. And then moving more into the downwinding, which has been growing, and now we have something that's pretty specific downwinding, the Blackburn.
That's the Blackbird at 0x18. Basically, quite a few new size came up recently.
Yeah, so this one is actually the burn I've been using quite a bit, and longer than what I was used to. So I used to be on a 7.0, and then for me going 8.0 and narrower 18 and bigger volume 115 has been a game changer. So this burn has really allowed me to ride smaller foils, to take off easier, downwinding. So like there are like a couple options, I guess, in terms of like lengths.
The new sizes that we are releasing are 7.6 by 19, 7.6 by 21, 8.0 by 18, 8.0 by 20, and 8.0 by 22. So those board, the averaging volume from 110 liters for the 7.6 by 18 by 19 to about 140 liters for the 8.0 by 22. So all those boards feature like a recessed deck. So the foil feel on all of those boards, even the higher volume, is pretty amazing. You get really close to the foil, and I think they are as efficient as it gets, really.
Yeah, yeah.
So pop-up ability and general foil handling, crazy good, yeah.
Yeah. In terms of construction, and actually something we should mention is like, where are those burns made?
Yeah, they're made in our factory in France. So basically all the foil of the range are made in our own factory. And we do also all the board from the AFS advanced range in the same factory. So obviously full carbon only, same for the Chypre Pro. And those Blackbird, yeah, they've been released pretty recently actually. And we have quite a bit of demand on those ones.
Yeah.
Available in black and white also.
Yeah.
So that's a new addition.
If anybody says like, well, it's too sunny where I live, and I don't want it to be in the sun, then you can get the white one. I've had the black one, and we are here in Florida. I've had zero issue, but just in case you wanted the white one,
yeah.
It is an option. So that covers mostly the birds, and now moving on to the wings. What are like options that we are looking at for AFS range?
Yeah, we've got the Wilf and the Diamond. Those two wings are pretty light, semi-rigid handle, great pricing. Also, main difference between those two is going to be the Wilf is going to be a bit lighter in the hands, a bit less physical, I would say, and the Diamond has more stiffness to it.
Yeah.
So basically, for a heavier rider or riders which are looking for some serious sporty feel into the wing, they might want to go to the Diamond, and somebody who's looking something really light in the hands, as less as physical possible, and lighter rider or mainly while riding, maybe not jumping or whatever, the Wilf would be the choice to go.
Yeah, I've been riding the Wilf quite a bit. I mean, what I love about it is it has a really like light feeling. Like, so even in the gust, it's just really easy. It's not a wing that's gonna like you come out of the session and your arms are like 5 inches longer. It just feels really good. It has like almost like a soft like power.
Exactly.
Like
super
feeling.
comfy.
Yeah, like super comfortable, stable, just easy to ride. Again, it's like it's the wing you take. You know you're gonna have a good time from the first minute. All right, so I think that's about it. I'm super excited about the AFS products. I think AFS has been like one of the fastest growing foil brand in Europe. And so coming in the US, you know, maybe you haven't heard about AFS yet, but it's definitely offering some amazing products at really competitive pricing. And I think it's gonna be really like putting some great products on the market. So Richard, thank you so much.
Thank you, Gwen.
For coming, seeing us,
Thank
and now we're gonna go on a downwinder. So
hell yeah.
see you guys next week.